Hey, how's it going, all you lovely people at Shut Door Shutter, coming back to you with a brand new episode of All the Mods Tend to the Sky. And today, I want to get into some shenanigans with Just Dire Things. Now, the reason I want to get into Just Dire Things is actually very simple. I want the block breaker from Just Dire Things, the actual advanced block breaker here. That would actually eliminate a lot of need for modular routers, and I think that's going to overall probably be our best bet, because I was like, man, I could place all these modular routers. I'm thinking that if we get this advanced block breaker, it's going to simplify this a whole lot. And I'm actually going to knock these guys out because they do not stop using power. I learned that the hard way. You can see how these guys just all drop to 0 FE, so it doesn't check if the thing is actually fully grown. So just a heads up on that. But yeah, so Shadow Pulse Goo. Usually you would go tier by tier, but since we have the ability to get all of the resources and everything in here, we can kind of just skip ahead. So how do we get started? Well, first things first, blocks of iron. And we could automate this. It's not hard, but for right now, I am not going to worry about it. We're just going to get these guys set down. And this should start going. I forget. They changed it on me. We need Skulk. You have to feed the thing. I forgot about that feature. Okay. But yeah, that should spread, and this will make ferrocore ore, which is beautiful. This is one of the very basic materials inside of Just Dire Things, which is actually needed here. And then we need Celesta Gems, which is diamonds on the actual goo. You can only use Shadow Pulse or Void Shimmer for this, so we can kind of just go right for it. So let's do... I guess I don't really need another set of this, do I? So diamond blocks. And that should be good. So this is going to get us Celesta Gems, and that should allow for us to craft up this block breaker. So yeah, we're not getting far into Just Dire Things, just enough so I can actually get what I need to. All right, there we go. And this thing needs to be fed again, but I'm going to leave it there. I ain't going to bother with it. We'll go smelt up the ferrocore ore. Perfect. So simple block breaker, advanced block breaker. And we are actually over here in the tower, just on the bottom floor. And what I'm going to try and do is see if we can put this guy right here. Let's Control O to disable JEI for a second. And I want to see, maybe we'll put it here instead. No. The problem is it doesn't have a way to push out of the bottom. So I don't really want to do anything. And I also see that we have to have a tool in here. I kind of forgot about that. So I think one of the reasonable responses is to go for a Just Dire Things tool or something that's rechargeable. But we can actually just get a Celesta Gem pickaxe, and this should actually be worth it. And this should be able to recharge in here, I do believe. We'll see. We'll test it. All right. So allow list. We want this. We want this. We want these two. Filter by item. And then let's render the area. And let's move the area. Let's see, so we need to go over two more blocks. And then we'll want to expand it to... Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, and of course this is not going to be perfect because it's such a weird base, but that should be golden. And then I think we just need to attach to this, right? Oh, this just drops into the world. I forgot about that. And it is terribly slow. Okay. Absorption hopper. So that should cover the area. But yeah, this is pretty slow compared to what the other one was. So I guess realistically as well, we don't really need this here, right? We could put this kind of baked into this whole thing. Just break that real fast. So I could put this for like example right here. And then just reset the area. And then we just have this set to like here on the down direction. And we show area. And then we just move this over to the south direction. And then we pull it to the west. That's the east. But see how crowded this is already getting? And that's without really like a lot of speed. Also, yes, this is very annoying. I know that. There we go. Just moved the anchor point. This is definitely not the best option. So let's see. Do we have like a better vacuum? I guess that's the first thing I want to deal with. I mean, I guess if we had a vacuum module from modular routers, this might be better. So if I were to put this here, for example, and I were to do vacuum, and then I think, can I grab range, modular range? Range up augment. These go inside of here, right? And then we would just whitelist all of these items, which is this, this, and this. Just make sure I got all of those. Of course, the limitation here is going to be the overall speed at which it can pick stuff up, which I don't know how fast it is. And then it's also depending on actually having the drawer so it can send it properly. So this was Emerald. And this is not linked to our drawer system, by the way. It's all independent. I did not want to do connection. Just so you guys are aware. We'll do this all separately. Okay. So I guess now our main thing is getting a flux point. Yeah, this is definitely a lot less efficient. So I may actually go and do modular routers for all of these, which I really was hoping not to do, just because it is so much resources and kind of just a little bit of a waste. But this is going to cause lag if we do this in a larger scale, right? Because if I go and I start supplying power to the actual other growth accelerators, because there are boosted one here. Somebody did inform me in the last episode that you can actually attach boosted and directional. All right, I went on a side quest and got the Vitality Blade from Bobbly Heart Canisters. So if you don't know what this is, or the Bobbly Heart Canisters bow, the Vigor Bow and the Vigor Blade, I'm assuming these work the same because I've actually never used the Vigor Bow. But what you do is you go and you make canisters. So for example, let's go make 10 of these guys. So we already have 2 of them. So we'll just go and remake all what we need right here. And we just go ahead and make the rest of these guys. And actually, I guess I should have made 10 more. Here, let's do this real fast. Instead of me just like crafting these manually, we can go through and we can just do all of this. And then we can do the exact same thing for the yellow. And the green, we don't actually have everything for yellow because it's withers. And actually, we'll deal with that in this episode because we're going to probably auto-kill some withers here soon. Since we actually just got into just dire things, I think we could actually do that. But if I wanted to, I could make 10 of these guys now. Which, of course, we'll need 10 of them because you need the red, the yellow, the green, the blue. So if you wanted to do the soul heart canisters, you, of course, need the blue. If you want the blue, you need the green. If you want the green, you need the yellow. If you want the yellow, you need the red. For the red, you need an empty canister. So just keep that in mind. But we do have 10 of these guys. And we do not have more because I am actually out of yellows, which is from the wither. So wither for yellow, Ender Dragon for green, and Warden for blue. If you're looking at this like vanilla perspective, most likely the Wilden Chimera drops one. I don't know what color it is off the top of my head, but every boss should at least drop one, I think, in ours, but I'm not 100% sure. So just be aware of that. I don't know what else mobs can drop them, and I don't think there's a way for us to actually tell. You also can craft them, but I don't want to waste all of them, because I only have 2,000, and that's not going to be really enough for anything. But all right, so we've got 10, we've got 8, and right now this does 8 damage. So if we shift right-click and we put stuff in here, this now does 26 damage. Okay? And that means that this is stronger than all the Modium sword here, and we still also have not enchanted this. So if we put this in here, all of the enchants that we can get off of this... actually, that didn't even change. Can I enchant this? Soul looting, soul steal. Okay, so basically anything a sword can do. So looting. We don't really need mending because it says unbreaking in it. Let's see. Severing. Let's grab soul looting. May as well. We don't need unbreaking. Capturing. Do we not have sharpness? Oh, it might help if I didn't have an eye up there. I didn't realize I did that. But yeah, I don't know why some of these enchantments are showing here. Right, we already grabbed looting. Okay. So sharpness. We'll grab Reaper. Scavenger. And sharpness. There we go. Okay. And then I'll put these on this sword, and we will have one powerful sword. We are now making our first piece of Vibranium. The end-all, be-all goal is to get 81 ingots of Vibranium, which is 9 blocks. And we'll also need, of course, 59,000 sand, which I did increase sand production. It's definitely not enough. But if we can get enough Vibranium, I'm okay with holding off on using any of it until we obtain the actual amount of sand that we need, because this is going to be the best option. And actually, I guess what we could do is we have 9.4 million cobblestone. If we could make a 5 times, then that would actually decrease our waiting. So let's actually just do that. I'm going to do the most inefficient method of doing this, which is just straight using AE2 auto crafting. But I think this will suffice for now until we get something else. So let's just do that and then toss that in here. And I'm okay with just like letting this run in the background. Also, I switched this over to an auto ender crafter, by the way. I didn't even mention that. So this is just going to continuously go. And we can actually, of course, save recipes, which is what I was looking at here. So you can shift left click to delete the recipe, shift left click to save the recipe when it's not, when it's empty. But it also requires power now, so I've provided that. And for when we want to do the 81, I've put a barrel there. One of the problems that we also have is, of course, I need nether stars, which we'll work on here in a minute. So let's start this. Yeah, okay, that's what I figured. We do not have sufficient piece for our thing here, right? We have the 256k. We actually have mega cells Could we look at mega cells crafting? These pieces here. Because these things are, like, ridiculous, aren't they? Mega also provides its own equivalent to the crafting coprocessor, though with the advantage of providing not one but 4 co-processing threads, which is awesome. Which is this guy right here. So let's actually just look at crafting these guys. We should have everything. We just need to craft up some of the basics here, it looks like. Smart cables. And then we just do this. Oop, I'm out of patterns. And that should be crafting coprocessor, which will be significantly more effective crafting things, right? That's what that's for. So let's just see about that. So mega cells. And we will just make up 4 of these guys. And I'll let that run. So basically what these do is the more you have, the better they can actually operate. So like right now I have the crafting coprocessors here, which are just the default ones. And if I add these, now we technically have 4 instead of just the 1, which means that these recipes are going to be at least somewhat faster. But it looks like we're going to probably need to do at least a 1M if I wanted to even try and do the cobblestone. Because of course, well, I guess a 64K should technically work because it's only 50,000 cobblestone. But then again, that's still a lot of cobblestone. Okay, everything's producing. All right, that's fantastic. So I will get that crafted, and then I will also look at converting these guys to 256Ks. So let's just grab 3 of these guys. So we'll have one that's massive, and the other 3 are decent, if that makes sense. And I think that'll be good. So if you didn't know, the 64Ks, if you get them in your inventory, you can clear them. So I believe, yeah, just shift right click. So I just did that with the crafting coprocessors, and that destroys them and converts them back into processors. So you'll get the 64K component back whenever you do it. So I will be back whenever that's done crafting. Actually, while that's crafting, let's take our first pieces of vibranium. That sounds fantastic to me, actually. So that should complete something. Oh, I did not keep the tier 3. Extended. I did not pull this out whenever I did this. I just directly did the tier 4. That's okay, I guess. Not the most ideal, but we have vibranium. I will worry about unlocking this here in a bit. We also didn't we make a 256M? Or did I not because we didn't have enough sand at the time? Okay, I forgot about that. So we'll make that as well, and that will unlock this portion. I think the 256M, once we obtain that, we'll of course get 3, because we'll have 2 here, and then we can of course do all of the other infinite cells, which will of course knock down a handful of the drawers and stuff that we have down here, and also the sand. So I'm excited for that. But overall, I think I will complete this quest down here whenever I'm off camera, because I think that makes enough sense. How do we make this? This is ancient stone or vibranium block plus all the modium ingots plus an all the modium smithing up template. And we don't have the actual ancient stone yet because we don't have soul lava. So I guess that's kind of where we're geared towards. I don't really need the equipment though right now. I think the equipment is better than what I have. The refined obsidian, so this is better. But honestly, I think I'll hold off until we get just a little bit further into the vibranium production and potentially the G ore. So, actually we also have the ability to make this now. So I should be able to make the 1M crafting storage and also the 256K crafting storage. So without the extra housing, which we can actually just snag from here, and we can just do this, which will give us 264K components back. We can actually just take this and make a third one. And we'll just do all of this and that. Okay? And then now we should be able to do the 5x cobblestone. Hopefully. Perfect. And that should cruise, and I'll be back in a minute. All right, let's work on the wither piece that we need. So what I want to do is I'm going to place down 3 advanced block placers. These, of course, are crafted very similar to how we did the block breaker at the beginning of the episode, but we don't really need to worry about that. I just went ahead and off camera made sure we had enough resources. And these guys will place blocks in an area, right? That's the entire purpose of these things, and they place them at range, which is actually one of those things we could use to automate the Ender Dragon if we actually wanted to. I could go back to doing that. If you guys are interested in seeing me do that, if you guys are interested in seeing me actually automate the Ender Dragon again, I am 100% down for it. I think I'd have to look into it a little bit because there's, of course, some mods have changed. We also don't have Young's Better End Islands, so it wouldn't be as complicated, but I think we could do some pretty cool stuff just overall with that. It's been a minute since I've done something like that. So what I'm doing right now is I am changing up the positioning of this. So this is going to be Soul Sand 1, which is the bottom layer there. This is the middle layer, so 3 Soul Sand across. And then this one will be the Wither Skeleton Skulls. So we just need to get this over here, and then go up to the 3rd layer, and then expand the 3rd layer, which I think I went the wrong direction. I think it just needs to be 1, right? So that will be perfect. And then, of course, we'll want to grab the materials that we need out of here. And I think for now, I'm probably going to set this up to be an ender chest where I can throw like a stack, or just a normal chest. I can throw like a stack or 2 of soul sand, and then it will automatically go where we need it to. So let's do whitelist. So that's allow list, and then allow list with the skulls. So what I also want to do is I want to make sure that's just set to 25 ticks. Actually, let's just increase that to 30. And this is 20, this is 20, and we want redstone to be high. And I'll explain that here in a second. So let's unrender. I'm going to drop this down to 15. Same thing here. And so what I have up here is actually an entity detector from Draconic Evolution. I don't fully actually know how this functions, but I kind of want to give it a go. And this does need power, so we're going to provide power to this thing. And so I've just set, by clicking on this button, filter hostility, and hostile mobs only. So there's passive, there's hostile. And we can just quickly delete this by double clicking on the actual thing there. And we'll just do match all. And that should hopefully work. So I've also set the range down to 5 just to make it a smaller range. I think we could actually set it even smaller, but I'll leave it at 5 for now. I've got a repeater here with a redstone torch and a redstone link. And that is actually why we have this set the way I do. So let's set this by doing this. And if I were to then run redstone across, in theory, I put this, and I put this. Will this work? If I provide power, maybe. It might be important. I forget that these guys require power. So we'll put that guy there at pipes. We may need to provide this with more power. Is it working? Okay, so I guess the question is now... So I don't want you to do that. So you saw what that did, right? See how it is now placing more blocks than it should be. So is it going to keep placing that block? It is. I don't know why this is the functionality, in all honesty. So I guess, could I move this down 1? And this is a really odd solution. But it doesn't even look like that's going to work. Like, I don't know why this is set up the way it is. It's always baffled me why Dyer did it this way. Because it's not a big problem in this case, because I can just continue on with the next one. And this will build the soul sand section. And then we can just do this. So that's one of the problems that I was hoping would not happen. So why did it do that? Oh, it's because technically the entity doesn't get detected until this point. So if I do... if I do both of these... See, but it's still sitting at a redstone signal. See, but why is this still sending a signal? Oh, is it because this is placed wrong? Hold on. This probably needs to be placed here. Okay, so now let's take this guy out real quick. Alright, I killed the wither. So I think we do need to have the filter... I don't know, like, I'm genuinely kind of confused on why we don't have, like, specific mob filtering. Draconic evolution. Filter? No, okay. So let's just leave it on that. And why did this not place? Hello? The redstone signal is currently on high. Such a weird block placer. Okay, and it is detecting the creature. So I think that this isn't necessary, this top one. I think it was just because I had that redstone link on the wrong side of the block. So now if we take this guy out, which of course we'll have to come up with a solution for killing this guy. I wanted to figure out a way to spawn him automatically more than anything right now. But I don't know if this is going to fully function. It seems like the block placers are having some issues. So we may want to figure that out. So right now I can just manually kill this guy over and over again. So I guess the one thing we probably want to do is grab a lever. And place that right there. So that way we can turn that redstone torch off permanently if we wanted to. Which I'm actually going to not do that just yet. I think I have to technically get rid of this guy. Redstone repeater, delay 4, so I can actually get up there quick enough. Okay. And that'll turn him off. Perfect. So it's not perfect 100%, right? But it's gonna get that concept. And of course, if we have to have another solution of getting this spawned in and this does not work for some reason, we'll just have to figure something out. But let's figure out taking out the wither, which I don't think is going to be too complicated. So we're going to do just dire things to do I think advanced clicker. And we'll want to do a render area and move this to the back. One more. That's center. We'll do 2, and then 2, and then 2. That's the entire kill box. Right? That works. Perfect. And what I should be able to do is get a flux point. Put this here. And we're going to grab a sword, which I actually have my sword, named sword. We should just be able to left click, target hostile. We don't need to do any of the other stuff. And we just turn this on to power. We flip this lever. Yeah, so we're going to definitely have some loss, which is 100% okay. But this will just slowly but surely take this guy out. If I had a better sword, of course, that would be significantly better, but we don't, and we will be okay without it. So let's do absorption hopper. Turn my magnet off. And this is a automated way to kill the wither. It's not the most sophisticated, and it's definitely got problems, but for the most part, I think this should work. Which direction is this? The southern direction? Oh, and that's actually going to pick up some of the items he's destroying, which is fantastic. We don't have a complete loss. And that is picking up perfectly. Okay. And we could also grab a demagnetization coil, which will prevent us from picking stuff up that we don't really want. And that is mostly going to be these items here. So this, skulls, soul sand, nether stars, and maybe inferium dust. Okay, so this did break again. Well, it looks like we're gonna have to go to the drawing board. Because I don't want to have to keep manually fixing this every time. So I was hoping this would work. Doesn't look like it's gonna work. Shucks. Shucks indeed. Okay. Well, let me look into it, and I'll be back here in a minute. All right, after some minor adjustments here, I think this is going to work. So we have down on this direction, up on this direction, down on this direction. I didn't change any of the tick speeds or anything, so 10, 10, 30. And I've added a barrel with filters into each one of these. So that way, of course, soul sand, skulls, and that allows for me to just dump whatever I need in here. So it's not going to be technically fully automatic, but that's not really my point right now. I don't really need nether stars in abundance. I mean, I need them, but I don't need a ton of them, right? So I can just drop a couple stacks of soul sand, a couple stacks of skulls, and this does just do its job. Of course, it's not the most effective. There's definitely better ways. And I think with the delay between the Draconic Evolution, Entity Detector, and the Redstone Link, somewhere between that portion, there's a delay, and that's why the soul, sand, or skulls gets placed even after the guys spawned in. So we watch this here. So the entity is detected, but there was still that blip of time that he wasn't. So it's not the most effective, and it's honestly probably because there is a 30 tick delay here, and I cannot lower this. So, you know, each is their own. It's not the best entity detector. I think the only other mob detector we have in this pack is this one here, which requires plastic sheets. How do I actually... What is Oritex plastic sheets? Liquid naphtha bucket. Interesting. I know nothing about Oritech. I really need to look into this mod. Huh. Interesting indeed. Biofuel, heavy fuel, oil. Cool. So we probably want to look at Industrial Foregoing to smoothen this out, but for right now, a very crude, very functional. I've seen this do about 4 or 5 different withers without bugging out. I think I'm okay with letting this be, and I think this will get us where we need to go. I've already gotten the 10 yellow heart canisters. I need to now get 10 green, and that would, of course, increase the sword's damage even more. So that's also another thing. The higher the strength of the sword, the faster this is going to be. So, for example, right now, if I change out this to the Vitality Blade, this is going to be significantly better. Also, sound muffler from Utilitarian. Peak. It is fantastic because I don't have to worry about sound muffling. I just don't hear a whole lot of sounds. I hear this guy keep getting hit, but that's about it. Yeah, see how much quicker this is? So if I get another sword that is like super duper fantastic, I will throw that in here. But for now, sword is being what we put in here. But all right, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a fantastic episode. I've done quite a bit of off-camera stuff, but I think we are good to wrap up here. So thank you guys. Stay awesome. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.